in leadership is the principle of trust and verify, not trust but verify, trust and verify. And basically, this means that we set expectations and we give people the runway to execute on those expectations, and then we verify and follow through that what they're doing is appropriately leading them towards success, so that when we find out things might not be going well or in the right direction, we can provide appropriate feedback in a timely manner and help to coach people back on track. So when we think about this principle in leadership, we are also going to be able to think about when we are not operating in the trust and verify safe zone or optimum zone, when we are outside of that zone. And on either end of the spectrum will be a different experience. On one end of the spectrum will be micromanagement, and on the other end of the spectrum will be hands-off. And neither of these is going to be beneficial when it's an all the time style in leadership. However, this does not mean that hands-off and micromanagement are not appropriate some of the time. This is what we do in leadership, at least in excellence in leadership, is we discern which tool and which tool for the principle or competency in leadership is necessary to be using, because sometimes we will need to micromanage. We will need to have our hands on what is being done and who is doing it and why they're doing it. Sometimes we have very new green individuals that are responsible for high stakes execution. And if they don't have the experience, skill, or ability to do so, that doesn't mean we take the experience away from them. It means that when we give it to them, we're also going to be very close to them as they execute on it. Similarly, with hands off, when we're giving the responsibility of something new to someone who's looking to level up, we're not just looking, do they have the technical skills? We're also looking at if and when we take our hands off, how do they navigate the experience without another person as their safety net? Do they also possess those types of skills? And so we choose on purpose to enter into these extremes of the trust and verify because the situation calls for it. And there are great benefits that will come out of doing that. However, in leadership, if we're approaching the concepts of hands-off and micromanagement as only being bad things, then we won't be able to see how to use them successfully. And in our emotional intelligence, there are a couple of skills we're paying attention to here. One is flexibility. Can we adapt our thinking and emotions around these concepts so that we can utilize them effectively? And two, interpersonal relationships. When I'm using these strategies, who am I using them with? Because I know them, their capabilities, their direction, their goals well enough to know which strategy to use.